I'm going to go over the basics of programming the Volcano electronic speed controller ESC. I've got a speed controller right here just sitting by itself. You've got the basically it's like a servo wire that goes into the throttle channel of the receiver, the Dean's connector on here that goes to the battery, the three wires that go to the brushless motor. I've got a Alpha 400 brushless motor sitting right here, and essentially you got your three wires going there, and a lot of people get hung up about, okay, which wire goes to what color. I've got four blue wires. Well, you got three wires going there, and you don't have to worry too much about it. Just hook it up any old which way, and when you first spool up the motor, if it goes in the wrong direction, then you just swap two wires. So you can just pull one out there and swap them, and that's how you can change the motor direction. Okay, so I'm going to go through the programming steps, and one thing is, if you don't really feel comfortable about the programming steps, what I advise you to do is to remove the main blades of your helicopter, just to be safe, because you are going to actually power it up with the motor connected. You have to have it plugged into the motor so you can hear the tones. The tones are actually generated by the motor. And of course you need to have a printout. You can go to exceedrc.com and get a printout of the speed controller instructions if you don't have it, because you really have to have that in front of you in order to tell what you're doing. So the way that you start it up is you're going to want to turn on your radio, okay, and you're going to take your throttle and turn your throttle all the way up. Okay, you don't have to worry about the speed controller starting the motor up if you have your throttle all the way up. It's got a safety feature where it won't engage the motor until after it's had the throttle all the way down. So I'll plug it in here. Wait for a little pause, and then it'll do its little setup song. Now it's going to go through a sequence. You heard one beep, now two beeps, three beeps, and that four beeps, and those are short beeps. Now that's a long beep. Long followed by short. At the very beginning of the setup mode, those beeps denote which feature that you're going to change. Okay, and it's going to cycle through all those with the two long beeps at the end denoting that once you lower your throttle, that's going to exit. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the startup mode. Okay, and you're going to want to look at your instruction sheet. Startup mode is step 5, and it's a single long beep. So I'm going to wait for a single long beep, which is kind of past, so I'll wait for it to come again. It's going to start all over now. One beep. Okay, so I'm going to have my hand here on the throttle, and I'm going to lower it when I hear the long beep. That's the long beep. So I'm going to lower the throttle. Now it's going to cycle through my choices. Okay, so I was looking over on the over here at the different the different features. Now for the different features, I'm going to look at there's a beep, two beeps, and three beeps. I want super soft startup mode. Okay, so I'm going to wait until it gets to three beeps. When it gets to three beeps, I'm going to raise the throttle back to the top. So that's one. That's two. I'll raise it to the top. What you just heard there, that dee-dee-dee-dee, that sound, that means that what you've set into it has been programmed. So if I want right now, I can unplug that Dean's plug. But I'm going to do some other things just to make sure that it's got what I want. So I want to have the cutoff threshold set to low. Okay, and the cutoff threshold is 4 beeps. That's 4 beeps. I lower it. So the cutoff threshold for low cutoff threshold is 1 beep. I'm going to wait till it has 1 beep, then I'll raise it back to the top. So I'm going to raise it back to the top. Okay. Another thing that I want to do is I want to make sure the brake is off. You do not want the brake on. So I'm going to wait till it gets all the way back to the very top where it plays a little song, and then it's going to go to 1 beep. There's my 1 beep. Okay, 1 beep is the brake for off. 2 beeps is for brake on. You know that you're in the individual feature to set it because your stick is at the bottom and it's cycling back and forth between 1 beep, 2 beeps, and 3 beeps. Okay, so once again I want the brake off, so I wait for a single beep and then I raise it back up. There we go. Now the next thing I'm going to change is I'm going to change the timing. Timing is a long beep then a short one. Okay, so that was timing, a long beep followed by a short one. That was step 6. I'm going to set my my timing to low. Okay, that's pretty much it for setting the different features. Once again, you want to have that instruction sheet with you, and you want to follow along, and you want to sort of plan out what you want to change, because when you're listening to the tones, let me unplug it here. When you're listening to the tones, it's not going to tell you what you currently have set. It's going to tell you what you're setting. Now, something that's a lot easier to program a speed controller is this programming card, and these run around $8, $9, $10, something like that. And the way that you operate these is that there's a connector on the top, and it says battery and BEC. And I know it says BEC, what they really mean is the electronic speed controller. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to plug that in, and black is on the right, so I'm going to plug that in. Okay, and then I am going to plug the battery in. Okay, I'm going to plug the battery in next. Okay, and now that's going to tell you what everything is programmed for: brake, battery type, cutoff type, and so forth. And you might even have some features on here that are not supported, like it's got a governor mode light that's not supported on this particular speed controller, and a music on there. So here is the nice thing about this card is you can get positive confirmation of what you have set. I got the brake is off, battery type is lithium, cutoff is soft cut, as opposed to cutoff, which is brake. Sorry, that's brake. Soft cut is when it achieves the low voltage cutoff, instead of it just dropping out the motor and cutting off on you, which is very bad for a helicopter. It will basically throttle reduce. That's a nice little feature. Okay, startup mode, there's the very soft startup mode. Some people call it super soft, depending upon what document you're reading. And then the low timing. So let's say that I want to change this timing to high. There's an up down button here at the bottom. I just basically push that button until the line of the feature is at what I want. So I got there's the timing mode, and then I push the left and right arrow until it gets to what I want, and then there's the OK button. And when I hit OK, you'll see this connecting light come on, and then once that comes back off, it's programmed. That's pretty simple. It's a nice thing to have this card if you are using the same kind of speed controller in one or more helicopters, or just to get positive confirmation. It's a nice little tool.